Hello and welcome to Sportsmole's Reader Awards for the 2017-18 season. We're here to reveal your Premier League goal of the season. Matt, there's a lot of contenders, a lot of good goals this season. There's great solo efforts, there's long range strikes, there's technique with the volleys. Which one stands out for you there?
I do like the Boufal one against West Brom purely because, in this goal of the season category, I like goals that you could imagine that not many people could score. Whereas Valencia's against Everton, while it was a great strike, and to a certain extent Daniels as well, I know it still takes great technique, but I think a player at any level really you can strike a ball. Like a lot of players can do that. You're capable of doing it, but I think the goal was that Salah one as well. But the Boufal one, when you dribble around a whole team, and I think there was a bit of a comedy moment, wasn't it, when their two players, it was Dawson and they crashed into each other, or everyone's falling around him while he's just sort of dancing through and making him dance to his tune. And I think it was he's not necessarily had a great season, he couldn't really get in the team for Southampton team to do it, but it was still an unbelievable goal. And I say there's a lot of long range strikes, a lot of excellent goals. I think that one, and I would mention the Rooney one as well, because it's an instinctive strike, because he's had to think about it. He's thought, I know what I'm going to have to do here. And I think there was a picture, wasn't there? I think it's the centre back, was it Ogbonu, tried to throw his hand up, or Obiang tried to throw his hand up to get it, because it's just like, how's that gone over my head? Those two I would probably lean towards, but there's obviously a number of great strikes there.
Yeah, I think this category it's a lot about what you prefer. I think if you're going for a solo effort like Boufal, I think Salah versus Spurs is more skillful, because he did it in such a short space of time, such a small space as well. That's Messi-esque, that goal was, that to dance through 4 tackles from a great defence, and then finish from close range against Lloris, who's a great shot stopper as well. I think if you're going for a solo effort, you've got to go for that one. Personally, I'm a fan of absolute rockets who rising all the way into the net, and there's a few of these in there. Wanyama against Liverpool, last minute, you could not place that better into the top corner. That was an unbelievable strike. I understand what you're saying about, in the playground on Sunday League game, everyone can hit them, maybe 1 in 100, hit them perfectly, sweetly, go in the top corner, but it still takes so much skill to do that. Daniels, I think if I was pushed for it, I think Daniels would win mine, because it was from a tight angle. It's a volley. We've got a lot of volleys in there, but his was off the underside of the crossbar, which just always makes it look a bit better. But then again, if you're going for technique, you've got Vardy's over the shoulder, unbelievable technique to direct that in. Nobles was another example of really good technique. Is dropping to him. You think of Paul Scholes' great goals against Bradford and Aston Villa. I think it is volleys from the edge of the box, not quite in that level because it arrows into the bottom corner, but still the technique for that is absolutely perfect. Coutinho against Newcastle, another long range shot, less technique with that one. It's just a really good long range effort, but I think Rooney's is one, you're right to mention it, it's one that does technique and long range strikes, because to come onto that first time, as you said, he knew what he was doing. He cut across the ball, he kept it low, arrowed it into the empty net. The only thing I would say that is it was an empty net. Obviously it would be from his own half, but it's not like he had to beat the goalkeeper in the net. He had to get it right. So there's a lot of good ones. We haven't mentioned there, I think Salah versus Everton code at top corner.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's tough, isn't it? Like you say, depends what you're looking for in a strike. They're obviously all great goals in their own right, and the Valencia one was great. But could the keeper have done a little bit better? Maybe. I know it was hit well, but I think you can say for some of them as well. If you're getting beat from, like you never see really those type of goals going against like a De Gea or someone like that. That would make that point. I know a lot of them are great strikes, but from long range distance and they're thunderous. Whereas goals where you dribble around the whole team and slot into the bottom corner, for me that'd be my pick. But that's just me, and I understand why.
Obiang versus Spurs it's against Lloris, who is one of the best shot stoppers, and the interesting thing about that one is Lloris was on that side of the goal, and just the power and the placement on it even beat a keeper of Lloris's quality. Shot stopper, as I say, he's probably one of the best in the Premier League at doing that, but he couldn't get near that one, and I think that was one of 2 wonder goals in that game. I think Son hit one as well, but that doesn't make our list. Shall we see which came out on top?
So 5th position is Coutinho striking against Newcastle, 7.2%. 4th is Rooney West Ham, 10.4%. 3rd is Wanyama against Liverpool, 13.2%. 2nd is Valencia striking against Everton, 21.2%. And number 1 is Mo Salah against Spurs, 23.6%.
Interesting results there. I'm surprised that Charlie Daniels hasn't made it. Vardy as well with the technique. What do you make of that top five?
No Boufal either, the one that I've obviously picked. Salah's was very good. Don't get me wrong, but for goal of the season, not too sure. Again, Valencia's was a good on the eye because it was a great strike. Like Wanyama's as well, like you said, it was a rocket. I think he bounced back out of the net, didn't he? Hit it so hard and flicked back. And obviously you mentioned Rooney, Coutinho as well. They're all great goals, and it's hard to argue because, like I say, it depends what you're looking for, and they're all great in their own right. So
I think the reason Salah's one stands out, and I'm not too surprised to see it top, is we haven't seen anyone score a goal like that apart from Messi, really. Even Ronaldo, for all his ability, doesn't score goals like that. Just the ability to dribble past so many players. I think he got a tiny bit of luck at the start of it when it bounced back to him, but then to take on 3 players in such a small space was an unbelievable goal. As you say, some of them are more eye-catching than that. Wanyama's against Liverpool, I remember watching that game and just stunned by how hard he hit that ball and how he could place it so perfectly into the top corner. But very interesting results. As I mentioned, Vardy's the technique of Vardy's, I'm surprised that didn't. I think that won match of the day's goal of the season, so surprised not to see that in the top 5 here. Any you think should have come into the top 5?
Like I say, the Buffon one obviously mentioned. Apart from that, it's hard to argue, isn't it? You know, you mentioned Rooney, Wanyama, and they're all, like I say, they're all good goals. Nobles as well, maybe a little bit unfortunate, but a lot of them are quite similar, aren't they? So it depends maybe who the readers favour as a footballer. I'm not sure, but you know, Salah did well.
Yeah. So Mo Salah versus Tottenham is your goal of the season.